Welcome to Section 420, Talkin Yankees, the podcast. Well, the Yankees will have to go the rest of the way without David Robertson, the veteran righty and former two-time Yankee there, signing with the Phillies there, as he might have been an option where I thought the Yankees might, should take maybe a look at him. Just the fact that the bullpen's kind of been up and down a little bit lately, obviously, even though Weaver's kind of seemingly got his act together a little bit, but of course, Loizaga kind of not, really at the level he was a couple of seasons ago with the Yankees, and of course, with Fernando Cruz on the IL, I thought maybe the Yankees would take a sniff there at Robinson, but nevertheless, re-signing with the Phillies, who he already was with back in 2022 there, so the Yankees will have to go the rest of the way without him. And of course, coming off, I would say, a very satisfying weekend series against the Braves there, just for the fact where Friday night you're really down in the dumps. You kind of come out, kind of flat to start the second half of the season. Of course, we all know about the play about Vivas getting thrown out in third there and the whole thing, and to come back from that the Trent Grisham grand slam in the Saturday game, the ninth inning there, it's got to be up there 1 or 2, the best wins of the season so far to get that on the road there. And then kind of very satisfying workman-like type Sunday 4-2 win there to close out the series. So you're feeling good about that. And of course, we'll preview the Toronto series coming here for the Yankees, giving themselves an opportunity to claw back in the AL East, now down 3 games in the AL East. But again, if they could make some noise here, maybe even take 2 out of 3, at least you could crawl back, maybe get yourself 2 or 1 game back there. Which, even if you lose 2 out of 3 in the series, I still think this is still the Yankees division to lose there, so we'll look at all that stuff. Before we get started, make sure you subscribe to this podcast, Section 420 Talkin Yankees podcast, wherever you get your favorite podcast, and there's also the YouTube version of the show. Go to YouTube, search for Section 420 Talkin Yankees, and subscribe there as well. So a couple days ago, I saw that Dave Robinson was available. I was like, oh, okay, that's maybe a little interesting. 40 years old there, so he's no spring chicken. But the stuff you figured is pretty relatively good. Now, I did pitch last season with Texas. Had an ERA of 3 even. Okay, I meant for a reliever, you maybe want to be a little below 3, but nevertheless, for 39, 40 years old, not terrible there. And still, look, he always has that deceptive Houdini swing and miss stuff there. So had 99 strikeouts in 72 innings there, so again, still averaging about a strikeout per inning, although just a little bit better than that there. So still had the swing and miss stuff. And I thought maybe the Yankees wanted to take a sniff at him, just because obviously we've seen some of the issues with the Yankee bullpen. Hasn't been solid as we've seen some past seasons with the Yankees there. And even though Devin Williams has kind of straightened himself out a little bit, Luke Weaver looks like he is coming around a little bit. And probably one of the other things that missed from that Saturday win there, with the focus on the Trent Grisham grand slam, and of course maybe the Volpe 2 home runs. The fact, you got 1 2/3 inning out of Weaver, almost going 2 innings there, and that's kind of what I think the form is going to be for the Yankees. Have him at his best, come out, give you multiple innings there, and set things up for Devin Williams, who pretty much Boone has been almost exclusively going for him in the 9th inning there. So you see him really kind of solidifying that 9th inning role for Williams there. So that's probably the formula they want moving over. Multiple innings by Weaver in the middle there, 7th and 8th, and then go to Williams in the 9th to close it out there. But if you just add another veteran arm like Robinson to the mix there, I thought that maybe some of the Yankees would want to contend with. Obviously, he's been there a couple times. He's a veteran, just, the fact that he's 40 years old, but he's pitched for the Yankees a couple times there. He knows the deal there. I think he'll be able to handle it. I thought he might be a good option, but nevertheless, looks like he's going to go with the Phillies now. He's going to get a contract of $6.22 million, which you figure all right, it's just for a couple of months really left in the season. He's going to get that much, but I guess it's the prorated rules. He's a veteran there, so I guess maybe the time served there. I guess that's the contract he's going to get there. So good for him. And it's something you have to worry about. Obviously, he's pitching for the Phillies and the NL East, so if you had him, great. If not, it's not the biggest deal in the world there. But again, I just thought someone who could have helped out the Yankees in that situation. And also getting lost there is kind of get back to that Saturday Trent Grisham grand slam game. That's what we're going to call it there. Was a Stanton 3 walks, and he was one of the 3 plays I highlight. If you want to go back to the most recent YouTube episode, I kind of mentioned with Bellinger, Stanton, and Devin Williams, kind of 3 Yankees are really performing well at the time where you almost didn't want the All-Star break. You want to keep those guys going there, keep them hot there. And again, Stanton with 3 walks isn't exactly that's not excitable, but the fact that he's laying off those pitches outside there, I think is good news for the Yankees, because eventually if he's doing that, they're going to have to come in the zone, and if they do come in the zone, we know what Stanton could do when he put the bat on the ball there. He did have 3 home runs in the week before the All-Star break there, so he was starting to heat up there, so he's seeing the ball much better. Since being back, we haven't seen much of the power there, but lately it seemed it was starting to turn on a little bit just before the All-Star break, and it's the fact he had 3 walks in the game. That means he's laying off the outside pitches, and if you're a Yankee fan, you've seen plenty of golden sombrero type of games from Stanton where he's just whiffing at everything outside there. If he's not doing that and makes him bring the ball within the zone there, that's good news for Yankees. Again, his batting average creeping up to 264 for that type of player, and I guess the way that, again, baseball is these days, there aren't many 300 hitters anymore. Really good sign for the Yankees there, so it's kind of got lost in that entire mix there. And for Grisham, he's kind of quieted down a little bit. Obviously, he started the season gangbusters, almost like, Soto who, almost seemed like when Grisham and Soto came here, the previous offseason, almost like, Grisham was kind of a throw in there, didn't really get much from him in 2024, but 2025. Got off to a really good start, but unfortunately been hampered a little bit. Seems like he's dealing with a bit of a groin injury. He's able to at least play the field a little bit, but the bat cooled down significantly since April and May there, but a huge home run in the spot where the Yankees really needed it. This after that bad Friday night loss where, I know we got to address the Vivas thing a little bit. Look, could he ran a little harder? Could he slid a little bit, stuff like that? But that's a play that happens a million times in baseball, and the throw just had to be perfect on the money. That's like a 1 in a billion shot type of throw there. You couldn't even plan a better throw than that just to get someone at that moment there. So, yeah, I know it's embarrassing, and it happens in a loss, and Vivas obviously not a marquee player, and so it's the whole thing that happened there that little bit. But also got to cut a little slack a little bit. Again, that was just an insane throw that, again, most Major League Baseball players, they've been tagging up to second base. They kind of lob it in there because they know, all right, you're going to third, you're not going to run home, and so they kind of lob it in there. So did he maybe catch him a little bit sleepy, a little bit? Maybe, but also it was just an insane 1 in a million type throw there. And it's just, what are you going to do? You're behind a couple games in the AL East there. It all compiles on you there, but it was also an insane throw, so I wouldn't go crazy over that little thing there. And then if you look at the rest of the series there, Yankees getting the great win on Saturday, and then of course Sunday kind of a workman-like 4-2 win there with Stroman now. Hey, since he's coming off the IL, giving the Yankees a quality start each time around there. He should have fared better in the Sunday Subway Series against his former team, the Mets there, because he left the game with the lead. He felt good about it because the bullpen blew it, and of course Weaver giving up a huge home run in that game as well there. So, so if you look at Stroman there, he's going 7 to 8 innings and throwing zeros? No, but gives you a good quality start each time, keeping the Yankees within the game there, giving the offense just, time just to do enough there, and obviously just another good solid performance with him. And within that game, Judge hitting his 351st career home run, which ties him with A-Rod on the all-time Yankee list. Now, that's the Yankee list, not the all-time llist. Now, next on the list for Judge is a player who, he was with the Yankees a couple of decades ago, like back in the 50s, Yogi Berra. I think he was an okay player. He has a couple MVPs, but he's at 358 home runs in the Yankee uniform, so that's next on the Judge list, so 7 away, which I think within this season, I think Judge is going to be able to tie and surpass that at some point in the season. So Judge will have Yogi to put a notch on his belt there as he keeps climbing up the home run Yankee list. And again, the Yankees would have satisfying against weekend series against the Braves, and now we'll move on to face the Toronto Blue Jays, who I mentioned, they're 3 back now in the series, and we'll see how this one goes. Obviously, a couple of weeks ago, I just don't think that was the best version of the Yankees team. The Yankees were kind of in their doldrums a little bit. That was a part of their second 6-game losing streak there, so I think the Yankees are playing much better there. And again, you're getting much better performances from people like Devin Williams, like Stanton, like Bellinger there, turning on a little bit. And, Judge has been okay, been bopping a home run here and there a little bit, but he's also almost due for like a little bit of a hot streak as well there. So I think the Yankees have a lot of good momentum coming into the series. We got Rodon lined up there, as well looks like Fried, as well as Schlittler making his second start there in the pinstripes there. So Yankees have a lot of good stuff for them going into the Toronto series there. So let's see what they can do. They crawl back, within a game, maybe 2 games in the AL East there. Still have plenty of the season to go, even if you got swept in the series, which I don't think the Yankees would. Yeah, I still think this is still the Yankees division to lose there. And of course, Cashman's still going to make a move there at third base. Is it going to be Suarez? I don't know. It'd be great, but you can't just keep going away with people like Peraza hitting 150, 160 there. So they're going to make some move at third base. Or maybe, it could be something that just takes us a surprise. Maybe they bring in a quality second baseman, and of course we know he's done it twice already for the Yankees. Jazz moves back to third base, just make room for a good hitting second baseman. So Cashman's going to do something on that infield. We don't know exactly what, but definitely going to do something there. And again, I mentioned at the top there, maybe for the bullpen probably as well. And again, I think a good option could have been David Robertson. But I guess the Yankees probably decided to either stay pack what they got there or just go elsewhere. Maybe just want a younger, fresher arm, which I can understand as well. The guy's 40 years old, so you got to take that in consideration as well. I thought that could have been a good piece for the Yankees there because the bullpen getting just thin a little bit. Again, with Loizaga kind of being a little ineffective. Not the Loizaga from like 2023 there. And as Loizaga obviously is coming off the UCL surgery, obviously he's probably working his way back a little bit, so he's got that to deal with as well there. But of course, you need a couple more arms out there just because, Cruz is still out in the IL for a little bit. And, as good as Weaver and Devin Williams have been lately, you still need maybe 1 or 2 more arms out there. So let's see what the Yankees and Cashman can do with that. So that's the episode. We'll catch you next time.